Hey guys, it's Jess from Stark Skincare here. So I'm going to be talking about grief again today, and I'm hoping that this video will help anybody else out who's going through this, because unfortunately grief and extreme heartbreak and that kind of thing is something that as humans we all go through at some point in our lives, and that's just the the downside and the flip side of loving other humans and animals. So as you guys probably know, unless you're a brand new subscriber, in which case, hi, I don't always talk about such serious things, but it does come up once in a while. My name is Jess. I own a small skincare brand called Stark Skincare. Well, it's not just skincare, it's also hair care. And my mother recently passed away. She passed away on December 25th from stage 4 lung cancer, which had metastasized throughout her body, and she died from complications. So I am very much still in the grieving process, and I think that I will always be in the grieving process, and I'm still quite fresh in the process. So I just thought that I would talk about a few of the things that have been helping me. A lot of the things are just little things, and some of the things are bigger things, and I'm definitely not an expert on this. And like I said, I'm still very much new at this. My mom was the first person who I was very, very close to have passed away. I've never seen anyone die before. I've never been a caretaker before, so it's quite tough. But I just want to let anyone else know who's going through this that whatever you're feeling, however you're reacting, is totally normal. It's completely normal. Like whether you are, in the depths of the blackest of despair and you can't understand how you will ever get out of it, or if you're feeling completely numb, or if you're having weird conflicting emotions, maybe even sometimes like laughing inappropriately, or having like a lot of energy and then crashing, or feeling extreme guilt, or feeling a lot of anger, or whatever it is. There's nothing abnormal, I'm sure of it, when it comes to grief. I mean, I think there's just so many ways of expressing it, and everyone grieves. Everyone has grieved or will grieve, and yet it's not something we talk about very often. It's not something that you watch other people go through very much. We tend to not, express grief when we're around other humans, and sometimes that's for the benefit of others, and sometimes it's just because you want to sort of forget for a few moments, and that's okay. And you don't need to feel guilty about that either. And we are often told some pretty, I don't know, I think stupid advice, just oh, you'll learn to be happy again, or like it's time to move on, or I don't know, just things like that. But just know that, it's other people just being really uncomfortable with the situation, and often people are really well-meaning in their advice. They don't mean to be, be like overly positive and just very toxic about that. So be gentle with others in a sense, but you don't have to take crap from anyone either. But just know that, the people in your lives are going to be well-meaning, but they don't necessarily know how to deal with your grief, which is why it's a good idea if, you can find the things that really help you out. So the things that have been helping me out is, well, I don't know if it's a pro or a con, but because my job is so flexible, I was able to just lie around in bed for like a good 2 weeks, and that felt really like what I needed to do. I was just extremely exhausted all the time. I would get out of bed to do, like the business of my mom's death, when need be, going to the notary, going to the funeral home, that kind of thing, meetings at the bank and that sort of stuff. And then later on, all the things that I need to do as the executor of her will. But I found a lot of comfort in that. But if those things just feel torturous to you, then it's absolutely necessary to have someone in your life who can help you out with that. And I feel really bad for anyone who just doesn't have someone, like I have my husband, to just hold my hand throughout this process, where I can be there to do the things, but I don't necessarily always have to make all the tough decisions or, you know, remember all the details or anything like that. This is another reason why I feel like death doulas are just really way more necessary than we tend to, I don't know, than we tend to think. If there's anyone very young watching this and you don't know what to do with your life, if you're comfortable with death, consider being a death doula, and helping out people who are in the grieving process, especially, you know, a recent widow or something like that, like someone who just lost like their better half. I don't even understand how to go through that. that's beyond comprehension to me right now. But anyways, so for me, being able to lie around was good until at some point I did sort of have to force myself out of bed, because I mean, there's indulging yourself in what feels good and what feels nourishing and what your soul needs, but then there's also risking of, especially like for me, like of just going right into depression. And it's hard to sometimes know like what's grief, what's sadness, and what's depression, and just sort of figuring out where the lines are with these things. I also, you know, at the very beginning, I was drinking a little bit, like I have like a couple glasses of wine. It would sort of help me unwind, but I'm also on medication where I'm not supposed to be drinking. And so once I realized that the wine was actually making me feel depressed, like not just sad, not just grieving, but depressed, I cut out the wine. So now it's actually been a couple weeks now that I have had any wine, but I think I'm just going to keep it to like, you know, a glass once in a while at dinner, like if I'm at my dad's or something like that, but just not having it in the house anymore. So there's also those, you know, indulging yourself with the things that make you feel comforted and make you feel good, but then also knowing when they're not helping anymore. So some of the really just simple and helpful things for me have been drinking tea, which is helping with me staying hydrated. So like right now I'm just having some Moroccan mint, and I don't know, there's something like, you know, about the warmth, the comfort, the flavors, it sort of helps you get back in your body a little bit. So on that note too, trying to exercise now, unfortunately the polar vortex thing is happening right during my grief, so it's hard for me to like get outside. I'm not interested in snowboarding at this time, not yet anyways, so walking around isn't really possible or safe at this time. So I have been trying to get myself to do Tabatas, which is a form of exercise it's sort of like interval or like circuit training, where you just do intense exercise. I think it's something like 30 seconds, you rest for 30 seconds and you just repeat that a bunch of times. It's really like just like mindless exercise, and you only have to do it for like maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, and it definitely helps. Like after doing like really intense squats, really intense push-ups, like it does, you do feel a lot better. And I've also been doing a little bit more yoga, and I'm thinking about going back to my favorite yoga studio that I've been ignoring for like the past year. I also booked myself a massage there, going next week. So I'm, you know, indulging myself with stuff like that. I want to be doing some more body work, just because my body hurts so much, I find. And I can't just have my husband like going around massaging me all the time, although that would be great. So binging on Netflix guilt-free has also been awesome. I have been really into CBC shows. So CBC is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. So I think in the US and internationally you guys get at least some of the CBC shows. But there's something that I love about watching Canadian content. It also just makes me feel close with my mom somehow. I guess she was very Canadian. But watching Workin Moms, I got obsessed. They're just like the most relatable women. So it's about a group of working moms in Toronto, and just sort of their struggles with early motherhood. It's hilarious, it's irreverent, it's good stuff. Also Kim's Convenience and Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek was the only, like I binged on that on the early days of, you know, just when my mom passed away, and it would actually make me laugh, and I would just get those endorphins and I would feel good, and it was like honestly a lifesaver. I love Schitt's Creek so much. It's great. So binging on the Netflix guilt-free, not watching anything like murder shows or anything that's like all about, you know, like death, nothing to do with hospitals. It's really just like a mental escape, light, fun, that kind of thing. I've also just been spoiling myself with some beauty things. I get a lot of comfort from beauty products. Going into drugstores and pharmacies and that kind of thing has always just been like a comforting experience for me. So I've been doing a little bit of shopping, not going too overboard, even just finding joy and just kind of browsing, just being out, just, you know, doing tactile things, cooking when I feel like it, being creative, creating things, working whenever I felt like it, but not feeling sort of forced into it, which I am so lucky that that's the case for me. I know a lot of you are telling me that you guys went back to work and it sort of helped, it was a good distraction. So, you know, maybe go, if you work in an office situation and you've got some really great coworkers and they're supportive and sweet, like I could see how that would be just really beneficial too. But for me, you know, I work alone, so sometimes working can feel amazing, sometimes it just feels lonely, and you know, so I would sort of, I've been playing it by ear, and I have been feeling the last few days a little bit more motivated to work and just feeling just happier about my business and work, and about, you know, the future of it. So that's good, because I just wasn't feeling that at all for a while. I also spoiled myself by getting my eyebrows done. I don't know, it does kind of help. Like, it seems weird, but it's just sort of like, it just helped me feel good. It's another one of those things where it's, you know, it's a physical thing, so tending to my eyebrows, it kind of brings you back inside your own body, which I just feel like is an important part of the grieving process, because so much is going on up here that you need to feel physical again. I don't know, it's sort of hard to explain. And on that same note, I'm planning out getting a commemorative tattoo, and then also adding to this one, because I feel it's just too minimalist, and I don't know, so I'm using sort of this, it is a pretty recent tattoo, as sort of like a template for creating a bit, not exactly like a sleeve, but just more of a tattoo situation going on here. And so, I don't know, just feeling kind of like excited and a little bit rebellious and creative, and, you know, working with creatives is something that I really enjoy doing. Like, I loved, you know, love working with like my graphic designer, for example, playing off those ideas. I love working with artists, to have like my vision for something come to reality. And so that's a big part of my work, but then it's also, I don't know, it's something that just feels so meaningful for me. So I'm having a custom made urn being made by a girl that I found on Etsy, excuse me, to create a wooden urn with a keepsake tray, some carving on it. I'm gonna have like her name, like in her handwriting, like carved, my mom's, not the girl making it, carved on the side of the urn. It's made out of different woods that are meaningful to me and my mom, and so it's gonna carry some of her ashes, because a lot of her ashes are being distributed, and then a little keepsake tray where I'm just gonna put little things of hers and notes and pictures and stuff like that. And so I'm finding a lot of comfort in those things. It's grounding. It feels like facing reality, but doing things that just really, I don't know, fill my heart, you know, and that's really, really important to me. You know, eating well, but then also treating myself to, like, you know, I love gummies. And so, you know, I've been having gummies when I want to, but not too much, not so much that I'm gonna feel sick, you know, reminding myself to stay hydrated, reminding myself to have 3 meals a day, eating enough veggies, and just taking care of my body. I'm reminding my husband to remind me to eat well, because I'll feel better, napping when I'm tired, getting up whenever I've got energy, planning things as it feels good. So like planning, you know, my like memorial tattoo, the urn, my mom's celebration of life, and I wish it was sooner and not in the spring, because it just feels like forever. But, you know, just doing these things step by step and actually feeling some joy from it, and not feeling guilty that I can feel some joy from these things. You know, I've been reading tons and tons. I read the last novel that my mom ever read. I'm lucky that I knew what that was, and so I was able to read that. It was A Painted House by Grisham. And it was an enjoyable read, and you know, it just sort of helped me feel kind of connected to her. I've been reading different books about grief. I haven't found like the one yet, so I'll get back to you guys once I sort of know more about, you know, which book helped me most. Right now I'm just downloading samples onto my Kindle and just reading the beginnings of like a bunch of different books. I've been connecting with my tarot cards a lot more, looking for some guidance. They are, as always, spookily totally apt. I've been reading this book, which I really love, but only in tiny little bits and pieces, and I'll tell you why. So this is Belonging, Remembering Ourselves Home by Toko-Pa Turner, and this is a great, just, it's such an amazing book about connection. But as I had a complicated relationship with my mom, which I guess probably every mother and daughter does, right? Some of these things are stirring up, I don't know, sometimes a little bit of resentment in me, but then also a lot of understanding and compassion, and there's just a lot of, it's just kind of heavy for me right now, so I'm just like going like 2 pages at a time sort of thing. And yeah, like I've been trying to, you know, be social when I feel like it. Sometimes it's too draining, but I do try to do something social once a week. And to just keep it brief and not to make any, I don't know, like that I know that I don't need any excuses if I want to keep it brief. I'm lucky that I feel like the people around me are understanding and respectful and everything, so that's good. And another really small thing that has been helping me out is downloading games on my phone. So like I'm not a video game kind of person. I've humored my husband and I've tried a few games, but I don't know, I just don't have the attention span for them, and I'm just not very good at them, so I get really frustrated and bored easily. But I found a few of these very relaxing puzzle type games, and the ones that I love, one's called I Heart Hue. And it's just a game, it's like a grid of colors, and you just organize all of the colors on sort of like their shading gradation, like however you want to say that. And so yeah, you're just organizing colors, and then when you get it, it all kind of goes boo, and then a little heart appears and it tells you you're like a fantastic unicorn. And there's like really soothing music, so it's very soothing. Another one's called Tiny Bubbles, where you're creating these patterns of colored bubbles so that they pop, and then there's like a little fish that comes by and blows more bubbles, and you have to like, it's like a quick mental game of getting bubbles to attach so that they pop, and then you're left with no bubbles. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the sounds are really, really soothing. Like the music's really nice and the animation's beautiful, and the sound of the pop is like really soothing. And then a third game that I like is called Two Dots, and it's another puzzle color game where you're matching up dots and you're trying to get a certain amount of something, some type of dot, or a number of different colored dots. And anyways, it's just colors and dots and puzzles and nice music, and I don't know, I just find it very, very soothing. Again, I'm not a games person, but I don't know, they're really helping me. Like they just really calm me down. They distract me. They're just really soothing. It's not taking in information the way, you know, watching something or reading something is. It feels kind of like meditation, but I don't get, you know, my mind doesn't wander. So it's a bit of a little brain massage that has just been feeling good. So as of now, what am I guess it's Tuesday, so it's 6 weeks today that my mom passed away, and that's kind of, you know, where I'm at. It's just taking one day at a time and knowing that whatever emotion I'm feeling is normal, and it's okay to be sad, and you know, it's just learning to live with grief. And yeah, right now it's just in a babying me sort of phase, and you know, as I feel okay with it, I'm, you know, kind of getting back into my life, which is good, but, you know, without feeling guilty or like I'm not, you know, giving enough of an homage to, you know, my mom's life and her passing. Yeah, it's just finding that balance in with this new life. So there you go. If you are grieving, know that I understand. Many of us really understand exactly what you're going through. Just be really gentle with yourself and just take it one day at a time, one nap at a time, one meal at a time, and that you will learn to live with this new part of yourself. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that connecting with my animals has been such a big part of my healing right now too. I have 2 cats and a lizard, and I just love them to bits, and taking care of them, tending to them, and tending to my plants have been really, really helpful. And of course, just mothering my own son has been really healing. At first, I mean, sometimes I get some complicated emotions around that, but in general, you know, it's been filling up my heart, and that's kind of what I feel like what is needed. You know, it's like filling up your own cup. There you go. Hope you got 2-3 things out of that might help you. Bye.